When Dave walked away from the show, did you get a call out of the blue? Like, how did that shake out? You know, were you caught off guard, or did you have a discussion before that happened?
No discussion before, but I got a phone call from him literally the day after. You know, we talked like the next day. And we had a very private conversation about what was going on. And, you know, I had inklings to that. In my mind, I feel like we were pushed into that scenario. I don't think he ever really wanted to do season 3 or 4, but he agreed to it. I mean, but, you know, man, he's my friend.
Yeah.
And so what I take away from that moment in time is I wish that everyone could have been a better friend to Dave. Like, my job was to be there to support my friend, and I wasn't going to leave my friend's side. That's it. There's nothing else to be said or discussed at that manner. Hook or crook, I'm in with you. And I hate to use this analogy because it's going to sound a little like Neanderthal-esque, but it's like, if my friends are in a fight, I'm not necessarily walking around asking the questions. I'm like, okay, we're fighting, and then I'll ask about the fight later. That's just how I was raised. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like, hey, what's going on? Like, obviously something's happening and I'm on this team. You see what I'm saying? So I can't stand and watch this. You see what I'm saying? I got to participate and figure out what it was later. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so I don't care about Comedy Central. Like, no, it's Dave. Like, I'm like, so what are we doing? Okay, cool. Because I'm here with him. You know what I'm saying? He brought me here. Like, it ain't about me. You know
For sure.
I mean? And, you know, one thing he told me, which also made me see my life in another way. And he said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing on purpose. Okay. But the thing was that I had another job outside of that job. See, I was, you know, I had my own company. I was managing artists in the music space and making a living off
that
of
wasn't your sole thing, right?
So when Chappelle's show went away, my bank account had less that money in it, but that wasn't the thing that was filling my bank account. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't have that type of knee-jerk reaction. Like, oh, like it's over. Like, what do we do? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I never pressured him, which I think was beneficial to our relationship across the board. It was never about, hey, so what are we doing next? I was back to hanging out with my friend.
That's such a great point, Corey, because I think about, you know, I watched the Amy Winehouse documentary not long ago. You've seen that, right, Amy?
Yeah, I know.
And they talk about how, man, like her headspace, she needed the reset, man, probably in the way that, you know, Dave needed to take a reset, you know, but then the people around Amy it was like what you said, like that was their cash cow. I feel like they didn't want her to have that rest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first time I met Amy Winehouse was outside of Deal Real in London, you know? And I will always be a fan. I will always be forever saddened that she was not able to figure it out. You know?
Do you feel like there's some truth to what I just said, though? Because
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, we're getting there. Okay.
Getting right there. Yeah. The thing that we have to remember is that it's difficult to have someone represent you that needs you to make an income for them to survive. And to your earlier question about when Y'all So Stupid got dropped and what I had to figure out, which I don't know if I answered, but I'm going to answer with this because it comes kind of full circle, even with Dave, with Amy. It's like, I learned early on when I was 19, 20 years old, at that moment, I needed to be able to have an income that was solely based on my talents, not based on someone else's talents, because that would lead me to making decisions on their behalf to pay my bills, or pushing them into making decisions that were not beneficial for them, that may solely be beneficial to me wanting to be able to survive.
Completely.
And so I never wanted to be there. So I figured it out. I had figured out that this myself was a commodity, that there's something here that I can get paid for, and that I should be getting paid for outside of De La Soul, outside of Mos Def, Kweli, Reese, Lil Jon, David Banner, Vince Staples, Dave Chappelle. I need to have a brand. Blacksmith has to be something that someone's willing to pay me for because of I'm credible, I'm a creative, I'm reliable, I'm all these things that my clients believe in. I have to find a way to build this so it's structured and functional. And I was able to do that. And so I warn people, I warn them, always look around you. And if your persons that you're working with, the persons or person that you're working with completely need, not want, but need your income to survive, what happens when you don't want to do this anymore? What happens when you want to take a break? What happens to that person? It's a bad position to put yourself in.